Now, if you've watched a lot of Linux videos on YouTube, or I don't know, even tutorials on Linux, one time or another you're going to come across the idea of having a calculator. Usually if you're using some kind of distribution as well, it will come packaged with a calculator, some cliche like GNOME calculator. I'm sure KDE have something similar. Or if you watch Linux videos where it's focused on the terminal, you probably see, shell-based calculators such as BC, or laughably even people using Python, which used to be me, admittedly. However, what you might not be thinking about is you can have a calculator in your shell. Your shell, Bash, or probably ZSH, or any shell will have the ability to do arithmetic. However, it's not structured in a package where you can use it like you would a calculator in the shell. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about if you're only familiar with the graphical calculators, but that's fine. We're going to cover all the bases here, but we're going to make our own shell calculator. You won't need to install any packages. If you run Linux, you're going to have at least SH. So this will be completely POSIX compatible, or it'll be POSIX standard. So you can use it wherever. That's the beauty of this. No packages needed. Pure purity in using Linux, I would say, for simple things. This should be a simple thing. You don't need packages. This is what it's all about. Anyway, so let's have a look at the screen. So yes, like I said, the cliche calculator, GNOME calculator, it's like a graphical whatever. Now, of course, this is a scientific calculator, but whatever. If you need a scientific calculator, most people, I'd imagine, don't. But okay, maybe you want the option. Okay, so that's that one. Now, this is the other one. So amusingly, people will use Python. What is Python? It's a programming language. Well, SH is a programming language, but if you have Linux, you will have to install Python. And to load up a calculator in Python, or to load up Python to run it as a calculator, is just laughable. To demonstrate, let's put in Python. So I'm on my virtual machine here. And so if I do 2 plus, what am I doing? 2 plus 3 is 5, okay, or 6 times 7, 42. And then if I hit exit, exit Python. Again, kind of laughable installing a 12.3 megabyte package, the installation size 6. Okay, you're going to probably have Python as a dependency for other things, but whatever. It's just kind of laughable, really. Now, BC is the GNU, an arbitrary precision calculator language. So this is another thing. You might not realize this, but BC is actually a programming language, or a language. So again, are you really going to use its full set of abilities? Maybe, and it's nice to have it, but again, it's just kind of overkill for what most people, I think, use their calculator for, simple arithmetic. So here is what I've done. So this is the raw code for my TTYSH program that I use. This automates so much stuff for me, and as you can see here, if I highlight it, I've got a basically a shell script that will act as a calculator. Nothing to install. You will have SH or Bash, but we're going to do this in SH. So I'm going to literally make this as a script. If you're wondering why it's all commented out, it's because I have it handled by screen in my program. Don't worry about that. I've done programs on screen. It's just so that when I control C, it doesn't kill TTYSH basically in shell, whatever. You'd have to just try it to find out. So don't worry about that. Well, let's just build this thing. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. Oh yeah, if you wonder what BC looks like, BC again is just, the same sort of thing. If I do that, whatever. Oh, syntax error. Don't want an R in there. you know, and then I can just Control C. So again, it's a calculator, but it is kind of more than that. But we're not interested in that. So I'm in my test directory here, and let's go Vim. Use whatever you want to use. If you're using Nano, shame on you, but you can use Nano if you want to write in using Nano. But we're going to use Vim, of course, and I'm just going to call this shell calc. Okay. Probably should have done sh, but whatever, we'll fix that in a second. So we're going to do crash bang or hash exclamation mark bin sh. So again, we're not doing bin bash, we're doing bin sh because we want this POSIX compliant, literally. Okay. Now there isn't much of a difference between arithmetic in bash and shell or sh. Just some like operators, I think, like plus and that. So it's not going to affect us today anyway. But so be aware, if you want to do it in bash, this should work. But we're going to do it in sh. Just do it in sh. Right. So the first thing is I've got a little printf statement. So first of all, let's right quit. And I do need to change the name of it because I need to do affix sh on it. So let's go shell calc, and it should be called shellcalc.sh. This is just convention, okay? It doesn't matter if you don't, but it's just convention. And as you can see, it's highlighted the syntax, okay? And then the other thing, let's do chmod +x shell calc. So this makes it executable. As you see, it's now in green. That makes it executable. Okay, so let's go back. Shell calc. Right, so let's do a print. Oh, what am I doing? What are you doing? Right, let's do a printf. And how did I kind of do it? So you can do it as an echo, but let's do printf. Printf is the best way to do it. So all this means is \n is a new line. Printf by definition doesn't create a new line as it's well, it doesn't end on a new line. Let's just put it like that. But I'm going to have a new line, then a string. Okay, and then two new lines, then another string. So that's %s, and then two \n, so that's again new line. So we want to close this out. So this is effectively our instruction to our strings, our two strings. So our two strings are this, and then what comes before, after, and before and after. Okay, so we're going to just call this. I like having little prompts to tell me what's going on. So I know this isn't really something you necessarily see in people doing shell scripting sometimes, but I just like it. So we want it to come up with shell calculator, and let's just put a waiting input. Okay, and then put a colon. Okay, so we've got our two strings there. They're separated by new lines. There you go. Should I probably shown you what that looks like so far? Why not? So to start up a shell script, / and then we want to put in our shell calc. Remember to actually write printf. As you see, I do not edit out mistakes. And boy, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. So there you go. There's your two strings there, and then separated by new lines. Just looks nice. Right, let's get into doing this. So now I'm going to put in the date command. Okay, so the date command will literally give you the date. But what we're going to do is we're going to direct it into a text file. Now this is another thing which I think should be a nice default. You see this in mobile phone calculators where you have like a running history of your calculations. Okay, now that's what I want. Now I don't know, I guess you can get this with BC some way. You can direct output, maybe it has a history file, I don't know, but this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to put the explicit path. You can just do what is it, home, is it? Home. What am I doing? Home. I'm just going to do it like this. This is just my way of doing it. I like writing it like this. So you do what you want to do. I'm going to do user, and then we're going to call this calc hist. Is that how I've done it? Calc hist. Okay. So every time you run this script, let's say, it's going to direct the date output. the output of the date command is going to direct it into calc hist. Okay, so you're not going to see it, but that's what it's going to do. But we will look at the file in time. Okay, so the next thing we want to read input. So this is where you're going to put in your arithmetic. Okay. So this is where you're going to put 2 plus 3 plus whatever you're going to do. Okay. Now I'm not going to have a prompt here. I've just got that there, so I could do -p and then enter your input. You can do what you want to do. I just want to have read. The read command takes your input. I is the variable it creates, and then we can call the variable which is your input. I hope that makes sense. I've done stuff on this before, so I'm not going to go through loads of shell scripting stuff. We're just going to build this thing. You can work it out, I'm sure. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we want to, so again, all the time I want to direct the output as well into this history file. I want to see what we've actually done. Okay, so if I do printf, okay, so this again is just setting up how we want our string. So obviously I'm going to do 2 quotations here, because when we call our variable, you should in principle call it with quotations, but you also need the quotations for the string. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and then we're going to direct our input into, so like the date command, we're going to direct it into, what am I doing? Calc hist. Dot calc hist. Okay. Don't need that. Right. So your input goes into the variable, and then we're going to call the variable, and we're going to direct it into here. We're going to append the calc hist file, so it will come after the date. So you can see maybe what's going on here. The date, then our input. So we're keeping like a running log. Okay. Right, so the next thing we want to do is we want another printf. So we're just going to do a string again, \n for new line. Ooh, and okay, so this is really our calculation. Now I was thinking I would just show you how to do arithmetic in Shell, and this is really all it comes down to. This is how incredibly simple it is. So these 2 brackets, double brackets, are where you do your mathematics. Okay, so you can maybe see what's going on here. So if you put 5 plus 5 in here, your output would be 10. That's arithmetic in the shell. It's as simple as that. I can even demonstrate that after. Maybe I'll demonstrate here. So if I do, let's make this a bit bigger. 5 plus 5. Okay. What am I doing? I want to I want to call it, don't I? So if I do printf, will it work like this? I think this will work. 5 plus 5. Yeah, so as you can see, 10. Again, I didn't put a new line there. Okay, so printf, you can call the mathematical output. Okay, so if I do that again, there you go. So it's doing the mathematics. There's your calculator. It's as simple as that. This is all built in. Okay. Right. So, but we've put our calculation in the read command. Okay. So let's do our double brackets, then our dollar sign, our variable, call our variable. Okay, now we want to use the T command. What is the T command? So T, we can read from standard input and write to standard output and files, okay? So the point here is that if I did printf and I did double bracket and directed the output, you wouldn't see the output. It would be directed into the history file. So what we want to do is we want the output displayed on the shell like you would if you're using BC or Python, but also we want it in our history. Okay? So we want to have the output in our shell and directed to our history file. So again, everything is catalogued and we can see the output. So if I do T-A, and then, so A is append, okay? Append to the file, don't overwrite it. A bit like double arrows, okay? And then if I do home, user, and then we want, again, calc hist, okay? Right, so that is effectively it. So let's actually run that. Shell calc, so if I do 56 times 45, as you can see, it's given me the output and the so I put in the input, which is 56 times 45. It's given me the calculation, and through our shell script, and it's given me the output. But it should also have if I do calc hist, there you can see. So again, like I displayed, like I showed, this is what we had. So the date command, the input, and the calculation. So that's your like history. So the next time we run this, so we're going to test, and I run shell calc again, and I know this. Okay, same again. Let's go back, and then vim.calc hist. As you see, it's done it again. So it's telling me the last time we ran the program. Now we're going to put this in a while loop now because we want to run it as long as the user wants to run it. Okay, so let's go back into test and let's go into vim shell calc. So when the program starts up or the shell script starts up, we're going to put in the date command. Then we want to loop our inputs. Okay, hope that makes sense. There's no point. Well, you can literally do this. You could have the date command if you wanted. You could start the while loop here, and then you could have the date every time you put in an input if you literally want the seconds, the literal timing it happened. But we're just going to have the date for whatever session we've been using it in, okay? So if I do while, and we just want while dash bracket 1 do, and the reason is we just want it to be true, okay? 1 is true, 0 is false, okay? While it's true. Hope that makes sense. I've covered this kind of stuff before, just trust me on this. The video will go on forever. Okay, and then we just close it out with done. I'm just going to indent this because I like to. Okay, where's that like that? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Why didn't it do? I was going to do some Vim magic there, and it didn't do it for some reason. Let's try that again. Vim magic, so visual block. Control V. That's why. Don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. So bad. Right. So that's pretty much it, okay? So if I run this again, and I do that plus that, as you see it's waiting for the next input. It's a bit like BC, okay? And if I do that minus that, or whatever that is, times that, okay? That divided by that. Is that right? I don't know. whatever. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know why. Does that look right? Maybe. It's going to do some rounding stuff. So it's interesting with BC-L, you've got, gives you, I think, like decimal. So you know, I can't promise it's going to give you, maybe it's not perfect, but hey, it's not bad for a little shell script. Anyway, maybe you could improve it. I don't know. So that's it. There you go. You've got a basic calculator in the shell, if that's what you want. If that's what you want. So I think we'll leave it there. If you want to see the code, it's technically on my TTYSH. Maybe I'll put that in the description. But you can, of course, just follow this video. It's pretty simple. Again, you don't have to install anything. You just need to make a shell script, and it will be POSIX compliant. And I haven't really seen anybody do this. I don't know. Anyway, if you, and if you put in the description, you know, you could maybe suggest how to have it with decimalization, or with decimal points, or however many decimal points. I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I'll improve it in another video. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Just made me think. Nobody else I can think of has done this. I don't know. People have probably done it, but I haven't seen any like Linux videos on it. Whatever. I'm going on far too much now. So yeah, we will leave it there. So you know what to do with the fake YouTube. You can like, comment, subscribe. And I would like to give special thanks to my Patreons, my subscribers, or membership, if you want to call it that. Hope to see more of you. But so far that's Sean, that's HTX80Nerd, and that is Soul. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. And if you do want to sign up to Patreon, you do get early access, and you do obviously see your name at the end of the screen. Anyway, we'll leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one.